started looking at Facebook ads, and this car came up for $1,400 on Facebook. Facebook Marketplace. Talked to the guy, said he bought it for his son. His son wasn't a real big fan of it. It was too low, didn't drive in the snow. And I said, okay, and it had a big monster stereo system in it, coilovers, had some later Lexus 18-inch wheels on it. It looked presentable from about 150 feet. Got close, it was dented up, had some rust on it. Offered him an even trade for my $700 Tahoe, and he bit. Drove the car home. It sat while I decided what was going on. One of the first things that I noticed is the front bumper was not even attached. I drove it 120 miles, and it didn't, I stopped at home and the front bumper kind of slid almost all the way off the car. So the beginning of the bash bar drift car look was kind of immediate. I decided that's how I was going to do it. I was going to run this car, make sure that it was the drivetrain that I wanted for the future project. And since then, kind of fallen in love with the car. I like the size of it. It's a DadBod hot rod. You know, I'm comfortable in there driving, and it's got everything that I want in it. Makes good power. It's got a good song at high RPM, and between the 10-inch wide wheels and a little bit of contact patch, we figured out that we could keep up with cars with a little bit better tire right now with just a street tire on it. So next year, if everything goes right, we'll be back with an R compound tire and a little bit more power and a little bit more aggressive attitude towards the competition. Well, the wing, I traded the subwoofer, one of the amplifiers of the subwoofer box from the car, and I knew that I kind of wanted either go DTM type look or a drift look, and it just kind of fell together pretty easily. The front bumper was, I'd seen some bash bars on some cars. The front bumper on the car was gone. I knew that wasn't going to work, and I saw some cars that I liked the look, and I had a sheet of plywood that we were using for a fireworks display. I figured that was just about the perfect size to make a splitter, so I cut that out, made the bumper, welded the tabs on. I hadn't welded since I was 14 years old. I spent 36 years, had never picked up a welder, and went and bought one and put the wire in, just a cheap wire feed welder from the little box store, and started welding away. And I went from bad to less bad, and found out how good of a grinder that I am. And it's a neat little heavy token piece that holds the splitter up really, really well. But it also takes all that frontal area, allows a little bit more aero, a little bit more downforce on that front end, and it makes a difference going around driving it across Gainesville. You know, the first time the car's really been driven on the street. And you could tell the difference between 2 days ago when it had a splitter on it going across Gainesville, and today driving it in and it bouncing over bumps that wouldn't have normally been noticed. It handled better than I thought it would. We ran a mid-pack time, but if it had a manual transmission, I think that the car would have been seconds faster. It's an automatic transmission car, and it was hunting between second gear and first gear, too low of an RPM for second gear and too high to get back into first. So that's either add grip and take a little bit higher speed into a corner, or add power and deal with having to bring it up from a higher RPM. We can figure it out. I ate a couple of cones pretty epically. I had a lot of fun with that. But I could have had 100 more fun runs yesterday if the tires would have taken it. Right now, I got to talk with the wife about it, but the intent is going to be a mid-size turbo, about 8 pounds of boost, which is about all the 3UZ will handle without spitting out the very tiny connecting rods on it. And a new livery for next year. It'll look different, but it'll be the same car underneath. Big splitter, big wing, maybe a bigger wing, but hopefully another 150 horsepower to the ground. A little bit, 650 or 700 pounds less weight. I knew nothing about the types of spring rates and stuff like that. I'm an old stock car guy, and if it was a 3/4 ton truck spring, you put it in the front, and that was it. But when it came down to it, it was learning how to do a car that actually turns has been kind of really fun, and it's a really good experience. And sharing it, we've made friends on multiple continents and countries all around the world just through Grassroots Motorsports and just through this hobby that we have. It's pretty excellent. It leaves a good feeling when you get together and there's a guy that's pitted next to you from Utah that drove a Mustang through Hell's High Waters just to get a car down here and have some fun, and he's just, you're just chatting like you guys have been friends forever. It's an excellent feeling. The forum board has always been an excellent resource for camaraderie and great ideas and bad ideas and all kinds of fun. So it didn't help me build the car because nobody was there, holding the grinder, cutting off an exhaust, but it gave me motivation to, after all these years, to get back out here. Race car, I mean. Every year this competition brings more interesting vehicles and cars that you didn't think would be fast that are just blazingly hard to beat in the autocross, and cars that you would think were going to be slow down the drags that go fast. If the car makes it here, gets off the trailer, and makes a pass on the autocross and the drags, I will have had a great weekend. Now, if I can finish a top 10 next year, yeah, I'd be a lot happier. But just being here, 18 years off is a little bit too long. And coming back has been a really good thing.
Support brands that support Grassroots Motorsports. Get your chemical solutions from CRC Industries. Visit crcindustries.com to learn more.